here with you all. So I'm going to do this presentation in English. After we'll have some times with everybody who's here participating in presence. If you have any questions or any doubts, also in Italian as well if needed. So this the project which Lucia was mentioning before is an international project co-funded by the Erasmus Key Action 2 program of the European Union. It's called InSTEM, an innovative pedagogical method for an inclusive STEM education. The partners are from three countries. There is France, Italy, and Spain. The project is led from Italy. It's led by Pleiadi Cooperative, which is an entity which has a large experience in teaching STEM subjects to both teachers as well as students, developed throughout years. I'm going to go on. Si vede anche se faccio qui. All right. So as everybody else did, I'm going to welcome you as well to the InSTEM International Conference, which is held here in Verona because we choose to do some activities partnered with the conference as well in the Children Museum, which is close by this venue. And it's a museum created by Pleiadi, focused only on education of STEM subjects to children. So it's quite unique and quite interesting. So let's start by discussing why projects like this is needed in the in landscape of a large variety of issues that we encountered in society. STEM education is quite a big deal regarding schools, children, and families. So the challenges that were identified when drafting the application to submit this project were, so one is STEM is not implemented in general in a structured way in most schools. So there is a bit of, it's not, the STEM subject teaching is not dealt with methodology which is widely recognized. Sometimes it's dealt a bit casually. Sometimes there is a strong method. So it's a bit too much casual, let's say. So that was identified as a something fragile within the system. Then there is a significant gender gap, which persists since girls still out of statistics, they are often discouraged from STEM fields. Then we have a critical lack of inclusion of children which have special needs. And of course, also many teachers perceive STEM subjects as very difficult and stressful, hard to explain effectively to classrooms. So those are the needs which were identified, and those are the needs on which the project was built. We have a mission within the consortium and we have some objectives. So our mission and objectives are the following. We like to democratize education, so make STEM inclusive and accessible to all students, regardless of their background and their ability and competences. So we're going to work in that sense, so to create tools which actually are able to include any category of students as well as teacher, and they can also be applied to adults probably, within the STEM teaching solutions and proposals. Then we're going to empower educators, so teachers. We're going to provide them with skills, resources. From them, empowerment creates and builds confidence to implement inclusive STEM activities with their own classrooms. And then we're going to support the transformation that we feel the system needs to go through to have a more inclusive ecosystem with regards to STEM, which we're going to do that, integrating inclusive practices into schools' curricula and support a systemic change in education as a result. Our core innovation, which the project supports and is built around, is ELP, which stands for Experimental Logical Processing, which is a new pedagogical method based on the concept of warm cognition. It connects the cognitive domain with soft skills, social emotional learning, and deeper understanding of oneself. Now, this is just a small basic introduction, a phrase that I just said. Lucio later is going to go deeper into ELP concept because it's something right out of Pleiadi tools and out of their experience. Our priorities, which are of course in line with the Erasmus Plus program. So we do prioritize inclusion and diversity. which is horizontal, of all our project activities, mainly ensuring that no child is left behind, no person, that we are actually able to include any diversity because we believe it's enriching. Supporting teacher, so giving them skills and resources which they need. They need to be able to structure their work in a way that doesn't get them to be stressed or in an anxiety situation. And then as a last point, we're going to promote STEM interest. So we create interest and excellence with a special focus on encouraging girls and vulnerable children in actually undertaking STEM classes, STEM similar interests, and so on. It's going to be something for them totally positive. That's an aim, to make it very positive, perceiving, to make them perceive it as something quite positive and quite enriching. Then here are the results. So the project articulates itself with macro activities, let's say, and out of the activities we're implementing now, we are aiming at achieving the following results. STEM in a Box is a ready-to-use, accessible, experimental activity box, which any teacher can use to bring STEM to life in their classroom. So it's going to be physically a box in which we're going to have a number of experiments that teachers are going to be able to implement in their own classrooms. Being a box, it's feasible to move it. It's going to be delivered in the 4 languages of the consortium. So it's going to be in Italian, it's going to be translated in Spanish, French, as well as English. So it's this also for inclusion and for scalability. Then we're going to have an educator training course, which is going to be translated in the same way. And it's going to be a comprehensive capacity building program. It's going to be delivered in MOOCs. MOOCs are what we thought was the most inclusive strategy because it's possible to access them online. They are always available. It's an asynchronous, it's an asynchronous kind of course, let's say. So again, another focus on scalability, inclusion, and accessibility. Then AI for educators, which is going to be, it's something that we are still in the process of defining exactly what kind of result it's going to be, but stay tuned because it's going to come out in 2026, around May. And it's going to be a support for educators of some kind in the use of AI in a constructive way to actually be able to promote, to promote the designing of inclusive lessons within the STEM framework of subjects. And then as a last one, policy and guidelines, which we believe are quite important. We're going to develop a policy paper and practical guidelines to support the mainstream inclusive STEM in national curricula all around Europe, as well as worldwide, because it's going to be available in English. So that supports scalability also over our borders of the Union. That's us. So the first meeting that we did in Almeria, Spain, because a partner is the university. I'm going to say a couple of words with regard to the consortium. So there is, from Italy, as I mentioned before, the project is led by Pleiadi Cooperative, which is a cooperative based in Padova, around Padova municipality. Then there is a school. A school from Italy, which is for school. We have primary and secondary school altogether, and it's a public institution, of course. Then there is a university from Spain, an association, University of Almeria from Spain, Descubre, which is a foundation, again from Spain, and as the last partner there is Association Trace from France. All very much experts in a large variety of perspectives within the STEM education in schools. Where we are. So the project started in October 2024. So we are exactly slightly 1 year into implementation. At the moment, we are working on finalizing the definition of the ELP method, and we have produced actually a report which defines the ELP method. It's going to be finalized and it's going to be available for downloads. We'll keep you all posted. It was a teamwork over defining technically and scientifically how to describe the method, as well as collecting evidences of its efficacy from experimenting within schools in all the countries engaged in the project. Then we were able to be to participate to the 12th Research in Science Education Congress in Valencia, thanks to our partners from Spain. Today we're here in Verona for this international conference. Now we are here in presence as well as online. It's a blended situation. And then as next steps, we're going to start implementing and actually creating the STEM in a box results we were discussing before. It's our next milestone with implementation. So you can follow us. We are at instem.eu. You can follow us there, and also throughout the day we'll provide you with links to connect with all the partners of the project if you like to be updated on all of our steps, for social media as well. But this is the website, the official one. Again, thanks for joining in STEM International Conference. It's been lovely to kickstart today all together. And that's it. Out of the, I just gave you a framework of what's going to happen and of the European project. I'd like to ask if there is any question. Sure. Yes. As we caricare QR code. In a second, behind me will appear a QR code, which is for evaluation and assessment of the conference. We ask you all to use your phone and please participate in providing feedback, leaving a feedback to today. It's going to help us improve again how we're going to implement a meeting as such to disseminate our results. Se ci sono domande me le potete fare anche in italiano.